Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of a Little Knowledge Consulting video blog. As promised, these will slowly start to get better. We're presenting from the fabulous Smoking Room of Doom. Cigar finally managed. Now, mind you, I'm a very desperate man. These were actually smoked last night and left in the ashtray, but they still got a little puff in them, so when you're a cheap bastard like me, you gotta take full advantage. Speaking of, the beverage of choice today is Heineken. Like sex a canoe. Fucking close to water. But it was free. So, again, we have that. Anywho, so, I actually had someone ask a genuine, honest, and for true to gosh question. And I'm happy to help out. So basically, someone said, hey, I really dig this blog thing that you're doing. How do you muster up the energy and the motivation needed to get out of a rut? And that's actually something I can kind of speak to. I have been in ruts. I've been in a lot of ruts. I am a rutting bastard all the way, as a lot of people could probably account for. Now, for me, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of that really does come down to a question of perspective. What you view your personal rut as. I could probably be more expressive with my hands up here, but if you happen to see them flipping around down there, you understand that I'm actually talking with my hands. Anyway, so it's a question of perspective, as, what actually defines the rut. Is it a work situation? Is it you are so overscheduled that you can't do anything? Is it feels like a rat race, you're on a spinning wheel and you just really can't get off? Because a lot of these aren't necessarily ruts. Now, mind you, they could just be regular, plain old, everyday stress. Could be actual, honest-to-God anxiety, or possibly even depression. If it is a mental health thing, if it's a recurring thing, certainly check into your mental health. That's kind of a given. There's also the HALT method for helping determine your moods. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Are you disconnected from your spouse? Are you disconnected from your family? A lot of these things can contribute to that overall sense of stress or rut. It may just be a case of there's not really a lot of action going on in your life. It feels like the days are just all the same. And truth be told, you should actually be kind of thankful for that, because consistency is a wonderful thing. And just because things are consistent, it doesn't mean you're not going anywhere. I mean, think about a train. A train follows the same damn tracks every day, but look at all the people it moves. So you very well could be that anchor point for other people and just not realize it. It's really easy to get focused on ourselves and our own emotions that we don't really take the time to look out at those around us and seeing where we might be able to help contribute a little bit more, or things along those lines. But say you've decided that, I've looked at all this stuff, I'm getting enough sleep, I'm eating right, I'm having great communication with my partners in life, my boss loves me and lets me go home early on Fridays before Labor Day, even though I really think his beard is a little too hipster, but that's okay. We're only just suggesting that. I'm not suggesting my boss has a hipster beard, even though he might. Well, anyway. So there are great ways to step out of it. I haven't actually had a really bad rut in quite a long time, and that's because I actually started following some of these particular practices. A really huge thing is take a look at your day and look at how you're spending your time. Are you spending your time doing things that actually make you feel good? Or are you taking time doing things that just make you feel numb? I will freely admit, I come from a TV watching household. To this day, my dad and I will call each other to see who can tag each other first when some old celebrity passes, just because we've watched that much TV. I don't necessarily mind it, though, because, we've largely gone off of cable and moved over to more alternate options, Netflix, Hulu, and stuff like that. And my TV watching's actually gone down considerably, and that's helped. Similarly, I used to be a very regular online gamer. It took a lot to tear away from playing online games, but all of a sudden I had a lot more time to honestly waste on TV and cigars, which I don't personally see a problem with that. So look at the things that are eating up your time and see if you might find better ways to do it. You don't It's a falsehood to think that you need energy and motivation to get out of a rut. In truth, it's almost takes more energy and motivation to stay in a rut. You really have to want to be miserable to kind of keep doing it. Or actually, it's just easier a lot of the time. But, as mentioned, so change your schedule. Look at the things that are kind of eating your time and see if they're necessarily eating your time in a positive way, or if you're just self-medicating with, tobacco, alcohol, questionable women, of which I have none on hand, marijuana, which, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to try it. I don't know how much you're going to waste your life on it. Try to avoid opioids, though. I'm led to believe there's a crisis. Other simple things you can do. Just go out and be selfish on occasion. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Personally, I like going to museums by myself. I don't have to entertain anybody. I can get a little knowledge in. First Thursday of every month, most cities will have a free museum day. You can go see the main stuff, not necessarily the big exhibit, but it's a great chance to just kind of get out and just do something different. Also picked up the motorcycle, which you can probably see up in the trees up there. It's not for everybody, but I personally find it really helps my own personal zen. It's a great thing. Goof off constructively. Take advantage of what short times that you have. Even just take a minute to think about something else. Think about some goal. Take a minute and just think about breathing. Take a minute and just stop. I'm not advocating that whole stop and smell the roses thing. I'm fairly indifferent on roses, and Lord, I hate orchids. But it helps break the momentum of that constant sense of urgency. Urgency is one of the real killers, and urgency is what will really reinforce that sense of rut. Because you'll find yourself in this position of, I'm not getting ahead fast enough, or I'm not doing enough things, or I should be here and I'm not. And it's a real question of being patient. And sometimes a rut's not a bad place to be. It's a good place to just kind of relax. Because ruts are a great safe place. And one of the great things about a safe place is, say you've got this absolute god-awful job, and you go home to a miserable spouse, and poor misbehaved children, and dogs that pee on your bed. It's horrible. Gods, it's horrible. All the more reason to just kind of say, you know what? Fuck it. There's this really stupid thing that I've been wanting to do. Like, do a video blog. Or take up walking, or take up leathercraft, or, I don't know, scratch tickets if you can afford it. I'm not a huge advocate of gambling, mostly because I like my money, but I can understand how it can be very soothing for a lot of folks. So if that's your bag, knock yourself out. Ultimately, a lot of the times is, the ruts are just a lack of stimulus. So it's a great time to look at, if I were able to do anything I wanted to do, what would I be doing? Apparently, I would be smoking a less stovepipe cigar, but that's okay. Now, carrying on. Take the time to just do wacky stuff. Learn a skill, juggle, try a unicycle, or even just take a little time to read. You don't have to read anything worthwhile. Pick up the paper, read the fucking funnies for fuck's sake. Pardon my profanity. The funnies are a great way to just kind of go through the day pretty well. And ultimately, if you can squeeze in even any time, an hour, 2 hours a week, find something outside the house to contribute to. One of the things that helps keep me out of my rut is I've got groups that I go to. I've got a regular fraternal organization I hang out with. I don't go to every meeting. I go to the majority of the meetings. I don't go to every function. I go to the majority of the function, but it helps me give back to the community. I belong to a fraternal brotherhood, one of the old school ones, named after an animal. I don't really do anything. Well, actually, this year I'm doing something, but for about 5 years I didn't do anything but go up, sit down, have a beer, and bullshit. Talk about music, talk about the workday, talk about whatever someone else wants to talk about. And even if you can't do something on that scale, even you can't do the food bank, you can't help out the homeless, you can't do this thing or that thing, look around at your friends and see who's having a rough day. Take them out for a cup of coffee. If you can afford it, pay for them. Just do them a kindness. Because while you're sitting there in a rut, I can absolutely guarantee there are other people in your circle who may not necessarily be in a rut, may actually be doing really well. But even the happiest person likes a compliment every now and again. Even the happiest person likes to hear, hey, I value you. I would like to spend time with you. It's a great boost. And even if it doesn't make you feel any better yourself, it's going to help them feel better. It's giving back, it's contributing. It's something worthwhile along those lines. And keep in mind, when you're doing volunteer stuff, it's great because you are basically obliging yourself to help out. You're committing yourself to a schedule. You're committing yourself to getting the hell out of your house and making a change. Say, for example, you live near a fairly large marina. It's a great opportunity to take some pictures. Practice your photography skills. Or if you have absolutely no photography skills, a great chance to just kind of sit and put your thoughts to mind. One big reason why I like people as much as I do is I am at my core a sucker for a story. If I could spend out my days, I would be sitting cross-legged on the floor, just listening to people tell me their ribald tales, and even just some of the poor, unfortunate circumstances that run across. I love hearing people's stories. Might be a good time to take some notes, start writing down yours. When you examine your own life, when you examine your practices, when you examine your days, when you look at the things that you do that don't produce for you, when you look at the things that you do that you just don't like, when you look at the things that you do that steal your energy rather than produce it, and when you see other people around you who aren't necessarily having the energy and you have an opportunity to give back, give back. It really doesn't take anything. And it's not even a question of motivation. Ruts are comfortable. They're comfortable for a reason, because sometimes, God's honest truth, you need them. You need to be in a rut sometimes. Because if you don't have a rut, if you don't spend that time in that maddening, crushing boredom, anxiety, fear, then you're really not going to appreciate the really awesome stuff when it comes around, when you're not maddeningly bored or ticked off or miserable for whatever reason. It's never always going to be easy. You're always going to find setbacks. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. The easiest thing with a rut is just, number one, relax into it. You might not so much be stuck on the rails as you are swimming upstream. Let the current carry you for a bit. Keep your eyes open for opportunities. And then just kind of jump on it from there. Small changes make a big difference over the course of time. 1/8 of an inch over an inch is nothing. 1/8 of an inch over 100 feet is a vastly different direction. And all it takes is a little bit of adjustment on the rudder, and you're there. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll be looking forward to doing another one. And again, if anyone has questions, please pass them on. I like a good starting point to talk from, and I'm actually really starting to enjoy doing this video blog thing stuff. Thank you.